Right now, the Adams County Sheriff says search crews have found the body of the 11-year-old boy who went missing on the Wisconsin River. And after Iran shot down an American drone and attacked a pair of oil tankers, President Trump launches new economic sanctions against the country.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
We start with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. The Adams County Sheriff confirms the body of the 11-year-old boy missing on the Wisconsin River has been found. Sheriff Brent York says the body of Jamison Miller was found near the Kilbourne Dam around 7:30 this morning. Crews have been searching for him since last Tuesday when he went underwater while swimming with the family on the river. Let's head over to the Weather Center now. Gary Canalti is in on this Monday afternoon. Some showers on the way, perhaps.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on some showers and storms that may be popping up over the next few hours, and there's a possibility we could see an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm. The reason why is you can see on visible cloud track this steady batch of clouds that we had this morning starting to break up over southwestern Wisconsin, and almost immediately in that clear area over southwestern Wisconsin, thunderstorms are starting to pop up. Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms for this afternoon into early this evening over all of southern Wisconsin. You can see storms over east central Wisconsin and a few more storms starting to pop up around Lone Rock, and that'll be the case through the afternoon into the early evening hours. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Should we get a little more sunshine, temperatures will warm up a little bit more, and that'll make the atmosphere more unstable. Most of the thunderstorms will be over with this evening. Then we'll see skies clear out overnight with low temperature in the lower 60s. Tomorrow, look for high temperatures to be in the middle 80s as sunshine returns. I'll have your full News 3 Now First Alert forecast in a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. See you then. Developing this afternoon, the Department of Transportation says all lanes on I-94 near Cottage Grove are back open after a crash involving a state trooper. It happened east of County Highway N around 9:15 this morning. The scene was cleared about an hour and a half later. No injuries reported. New at noon, the reward for information leading to the arrest of the suspect who shot and killed a Racine police officer continues to climb. Officials are now offering $70,500. Officer John Hetland was off duty when he tried stopping an armed robbery at a bar 1 week ago. President Trump may have called off ICE raids for at least 2 weeks, but Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says it's important to be prepared as future raids could happen here. Madison is not on one of the top 10 U.S. cities named as locations for potential raids, but Koval said that could change. He says his department would help in the deportation of known criminals, but not in civil deportations or people who don't have records.
We had a domestic violence situation a couple years ago where the suspect was undocumented, and once we had arrested him and were going through our identification process, when we realized he was undocumented, we took the initiative to tell ICE.
Last September, ICE conducted a raid arresting 83 people, including 20 in Dane County. Koval says while the targets were known criminals, others were arrested as well by virtue of being associated with the targets. One person's in the hospital after a shed at Perry Lutheran Church in Mount Horeb started on fire. Sheriff's Office officials say around 9:30 last night, a man in his 50s who lives near the church went to check out the fire. He suffered burns and significant injuries, but non-life-threatening. The cause of the fire still under investigation. New at noon, President Trump has signed an executive order to place economic sanctions on Iran. This follows Iran striking down a U.S. drone it claimed was in Iran's airspace. In the Oval Office this morning, President Trump described the sanctions ordered as, quote, hard-hitting, and said they will deny Iran's supreme leader and others access to financial instruments.
I've said it about North Korea. I think North Korea has a phenomenal future, and I think Iran also has a phenomenal future. And I think a lot of people would like to see them get to work on that great future. So I'll sign this now.
Reporters asked if the president planned to negotiate a new deal with Iran. Trump said that he would love to be able to. On Capitol Hill, there is a bipartisan effort to force top tech companies to tell users how much they make from our data. The Dashboard Act would impact Facebook, Google, Amazon, Twitter, and any other, quote, commercial data operators with more than 100 million monthly users. Democratic Senator Mark Warner of Virginia says the bill would increase transparency and could help antitrust regulators determine if those big platforms are hurting competition among other tech companies. More local news now. Today is the start of the summer food program in Madison. Children 18 years and younger can get free meals at nearly 3 dozen sites, now until August 16th. The program is a collaboration between the City of Madison, REAP Food Group, and Madison Metropolitan School District to make sure children have access to food while classes are out. We have a link to all that information on channel3000.com. And speaking of food, there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you love anything Western, you're gonna love our trip down memory lane. So grab your cowboy boots and come along and join us. I don't know about you, but growing up, I loved watching any kind of Western, whether that be a shoot-'em-up cowboy and Indian movie or Bonanza on TV. So all this week, we're out of the kitchen as we celebrate the Wild Wild West. And since we're all about food in the test kitchen, we thought we should take a look back at what cowboys back then knew as their kitchen out on the prairie. It was their chuck wagon. It was considered the most important part of the wagon train because it's where everyone was fed. And the cookie, well, that's the person in charge of the chuck wagon, also acted as the banker, the tailor, and even the dentist. And to recreate those times, every year there are dozens of chuck wagon cook-offs held around the country. But until you're able to attend one, you gotta try one of our one-pot favorites that has the taste of the Wild Wild West. And it's so darn easy. Between the crispy edges of the sausage and the smokiness of the barbecue sauce, what's not to love? The recipe for our chuck wagon skillet is online now, along with links to where you can find a chuck wagon cook-off near you. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fill-you-up way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Howard, thank you. Keep an eye out for some scattered showers today, possibly a severe thunderstorm. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti will have your first alert forecast coming up. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. Call the hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. And here's a look at Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial's up 43. The NASDAQ down almost 5, but the S&P 500 is up a fraction. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. Time now for weather. Gary's over in the Weather Center, keeping an eye on the skies this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been cloudy and somewhat rainy this morning, but notice to the south and west, this is visible cloud track. Notice how the skies are starting to at least clear a little bit, and that's allowing some sunshine to warm the ground up a little bit, and that will start to pop up into more thunderstorms. In fact, we've already been seeing that happen here on Doppler track. You can see one band of rain and a few thunderstorms moved into east central Wisconsin. Now the activity that's popping up, just kind of hit and miss over southwestern Wisconsin, does have some thunderstorms associated with it. Farther to the west, there's also another little line of showers and eventually some thunderstorms will be developing back toward the I-35 corridor. As that moves eastward, we could see another round of thunderstorms late this afternoon into early this evening. Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, a marginal risk around that. Main threats right now appear to be hail and high winds. This is the high wind probability, about a 15% chance within 25 miles of a point. Hail, pretty much the same story, about a 15% chance of hail larger than about an inch in diameter within 25 miles of a point. But notice the tornado probability, less than 2%. So right now that does not appear to be a big threat. Heavy rain could also be a possibility in some areas. You can see the computer model forecast. This is for not only for this afternoon and this evening, but also perhaps any thunderstorms that pop up late tomorrow afternoon. Over that time period, probably looking at somewhere around a quarter to 3/4 of an inch of rain over southern Wisconsin, but there'll be some spots that pick up over an inch of rain and heavier thunderstorms. The live view from the WISC sky cam in Madison showing mostly cloudy skies, but every once in a while you'll see a little peak of blue start to show up in there. Temperature right now 72 degrees. Winds are out of the south at 8 miles per hour. Notice the dew point. That's at 66 degrees, so the air becoming increasingly humid. Temperatures right now are in the lower 70s. That's not really high for a severe weather outbreak, but when you add in dew point temperatures that are in the mid to upper 60s, that starts to add some instability to the atmosphere. A few places south of Chicago seeing dew points around 70 degrees. If we take a look at the instability, green is very minor instability, yellow is some instability, and the reds would indicate stronger instability. You can see this afternoon, depending on the cloud cover, we may actually start to see less instability start to pop up over southern Wisconsin because the cloud cover would tend to cool things down and limit things, but there could be these pockets of perhaps a little bit more instability that could develop into a strong to severe thunderstorm. Now, tomorrow, notice the instability is higher, and that's because temperatures will be in the mid-80s and humidity levels will still be fairly high, but there won't be a front to really trigger anything except down to the south. So notice the instability much higher across parts of Iowa and Illinois, But the severe weather threat mainly tomorrow will be south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, and then by tomorrow night, that should start to go away as well. But temperatures will start to increase as well, because notice the upper level winds becoming a little more southerly. Now, this first little shot of instability coming through with the showers and thunderstorms, not a big deal. The jet stream flattens out, and then as that starts turning southwesterly, much of the country will be warming up over the next few days. And by the weekend, we could be looking at high temperatures around 90 degrees by both Saturday and Sunday. So our forecast for this afternoon calls for mostly cloudy skies. We'll see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms developing, high at 74. And we can't rule out an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm. Tonight's low at 60, showers and storms ending early. Then we'll see clearing late. And then for tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 84. Just an outside chance of a late day thunderstorm. On future track, you can see the shower and thunderstorm chances this afternoon. They end this evening. Overnight, look for a low of 60. Tomorrow, a high in the mid 80s. Just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm popping up in the afternoon. And again, those rainfall amounts, some areas could pick up over an inch of rain in a heavier shower or thunderstorm. But as we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, again, that alert day for this afternoon and this evening. But look at the temperatures as we head toward the weekend. We might see our first 90s for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And it looks like temperatures will stay very warm even into the 4th of July, which is the day beyond the 10-day forecast here. So
summer's here.
We're waiting for summer. There it is.
You can complain about the heat soon.
I don't want to hear it.
All right. Don't listen then. Next at noon, we're taking your plant and garden questions. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here. 270-9933 is the number to call. We'll get to your calls right after this. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here, taking your calls at 270-9933. Welcome to you.
Hello.
Got some perennials here?
I did. You know, it's supposed to get hot, which I'm not super happy about, but the plants will like it. Sometimes the flowering stuff tends to sort of peter out a little bit when it gets hot. But so I brought some perennials that have some really good foliar interest. So this is a coral bell. It's this really nice red color. This is porcupine grass. So it's striped, and then of course there are always hostas for shady areas.
Always hostas.
It's always hostas.
Always hostas. Let's get to the phones. Let's start with Deb in Mineral Point. Hi, Deb.
Hi.
Hi,
My question is, and I know she's had this a million times, but the burning bushes, if they don't have any leaves on the top, will they come back or will they not?
Okay, so Deb, with the burning bush, the parts that are dead now that haven't leafed out are not coming back. But if your burning bush is well established, meaning it's been in the ground for several years, it's probably going to come back up from the roots. So go ahead by this weekend and clean out all of the stuff that's dead, and then you can shape it next spring. So you can whack it back pretty far and the roots will send up new growth. Of course, it'll take a couple years before it sort of evens itself out and is the size that you had when you left, but it'll get there eventually.
It's just a wet summer and
Last wet summer, yes.
And the polar vortex.
And the polar vortex, yes.
All right, let's go to Deb in Madison. Hi, Deb.
Hey, guys.
Hi, what's your question?
I want to know if I can cut down my bleeding hearts now that they're all turning brown and gone.
Yeah, bleeding hearts, especially if they're in a location that's kind of sunny, they'll start to go dormant once it starts to get warm. So once they start to turn golden and brown, you can go ahead and cut them back, and they'll come back next year without a problem.
They're done.
They're done, though, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I put them in, it's like, what, you're dying already? But that's how it works.
It's an early season perennial.
All right, Judy from Madison. Hi, Judy.
Hi. I have a question about a dwarf iris that I purchased, and it seems like every other year I may get blooms, although they're not the big blooms that I would like to see. But this year they did not bloom. Last year I believe they did, and the year before they did not. Is there something I can do? I cut the leaves back in the fall. Perhaps there's something I'm missing, or would it need mulching, or just what would the process
Well,
be?
some of those iris that are on rhizomes, you can go ahead and cut those fans back so that they're maybe, 3, 4, 5 inches high, and you can do that in late summer or early fall. One of the things with iris, though, especially those little, anything but the Japanese and Siberian ones, is that if you mulch them and there's too much mulch on the rhizome, that they will not bloom or they won't bloom as readily. So make sure if you mulch your garden or if there's maybe some litter in there, some garden debris, that you clean that up so that those rhizomes are right on top.
All right, let's go to Sherry in Milton. Hi, Sherry, what's your question? Sherry, you there?
Yes, I get hyacinth plants as gifts. I let them die back. I plant them out, and they come up next spring, but there's no flowers, just the green leaf.
Why don't you try when you, in the fall or when you replant the other ones, use a little bit of what they call a bulb booster. So it's a fertilizer that helps bulbs set those flower buds inside. I would also say, too, that if they were forced bulbs, sometimes it will take a couple years before they will have enough energy to set flower buds and to bloom.
Like if you bought it at a house plant or something.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's go to Lorraine in Wanakee. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi there.
What?
Any plants, bushes, etc., that are brown and haven't put any type of green foliage on, can we cut those back now? Should we cut that back, or should we just leave it because it looks half dead?
You can go ahead and cut that stuff back on everything except oaks. Even if you have dead branches on oaks or branches that haven't leafed out, it is the wrong time to prune them. This pruning at this time creates wounds that might attract two-line chestnut borers, and that would cause oak wilt. So you want to leave those alone until the oak is completely defoliated and dormant. So after Halloween.
Okay, it's illegal, right, to cut them?
I don't think it's illegal, but it's silly.
Not good. We had another burning bush question, but it's the same thing. It's just cut it back.
Cut it back, yeah. Go ahead and cut back anything that's dead.
All right. Lisa, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for calling in. We'll see you next time. And here's Gary with one final check of the forecast.
Well, we're continuing to watch for the potential for some severe weather. Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over all of southern Wisconsin. Right now, we're seeing some storms starting to pop up over southwestern Wisconsin. Looks like a few around the Lone Rock area, and a couple now developing just east of Dodgeville, heading over toward Mount Horeb. For current temperatures right now are in the lower 70s in most areas. You can see where they're getting a little sunshine, like in Bosqueville, temperatures are in the mid 70s. That's making the atmosphere a little bit more unstable. We do have an alert day in the forecast for this afternoon and this evening for the potential for a severe thunderstorm with hail and high winds being the main threats. Otherwise, look for the thunderstorm chances to end this evening, be back in the mid 80s for tomorrow and Wednesday, and then those temperatures really take off. Look for high temperatures around 90 for the weekend into the early part of next week. The thunderstorm chances go down. It looks like we'll stay warm all the way through the 4th of July holiday.
Summer is here indeed. All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.